I'm Steve Millard with COSE, and I'm here today with Bob Drusendahl from PreCheck. He is the president and CEO. He's been in this business a long time and has some insights on all the things that you might want to know about background checks. So Bob, tell me the importance of a background check with a company. Why do you do that even?
Well, we had a survey in our association of background screening recently, and 96% of those people that replied said that background checks were important to them, and 87 of those percent said they did it for the safety of their fellow employees.
So what am I finding out when I'm doing a background check? Are we sort of going back into my family tree? Are we just looking at things that are sort of on the records? What kind of things do you find in a background check?
Primarily, it's you get a signed release separate from the job application. It gives us permission under the Fair Credit Reporting Act to go in and get public information for the most part. The only thing that's really private would be a credit report, and often that would require a separate release for that particular purpose.
So I know we were over at your shop talking to your folks, and I know that it's complicated to go state by state and really search on somebody. I mean, what kind of time does it take to do a background check on somebody?
Our average metric for a criminal background checks, it's 2 days, 6 hours.
2 days and 6 hours, exactly. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And so they are actually going out to all these individual places and sort of online or in person, or how are they sort of getting the information?
We have a network of researchers that covers the 3,114 counties in the United States, and also the further in for the tens of thousands of metropolitan communities. We have after 25 years and being able to reach coast to coast from basically San Mateo, California to Woonsocket. I love the word Woonsocket.
I know Woonsocket. That's great. So that's so I mean, it takes a lot of legwork to get this stuff done. And so what do you find out typically? I mean, what percentage of applicants sort of lie on an application, or maybe not lie, don't tell the whole truth?
Well, according to the Society for Human Resource Management, 54% lie with regards to their resumes, and there are errors and or omissions. And vast majority of them do that as it relates to their education.
And so they kind of embellish some things here and there, or leave some things out, but mostly embellishing is my guess.
You betcha.
Great. So I should take that PhD off my resume?
Well, that little thing you never told anybody about, Steve? I know, but it's our secret.
All right, that's great. That's great. So finally, when you're doing background checks, I've heard different things about can you do that before you make an offer of employment? Do you do it after? Where does the background check come in the offer process?
Well, it's interesting because our industry is going through a huge evolution right now as it pertains to legal compliance issues, as it pertains to federal law, which is the Fair Credit Reporting Act, as opposed to what individual states are doing and cities are doing. New York City and LA, they're just going crazy with a thing called ban the box.
Oh, right, sure.
Okay, which means that you can't have you been convicted of a crime. Most states, although in Ohio it's still legal, many states and individual city governments are removing that from the compliance portion of the
So you can't ask the question, have you been convicted of a felony, because they're seeing that as being discriminatory?
Until after you make the job offer. So back in the day, 3 years ago, one could do a pre-employment background check, and that's still legal today for the most part. But what the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission wishes us to do is to have a post-employment where you make the offer. The reason being that there are 70 million, anywhere between 30 to 70 million ex-offenders out there in the United States, out of a population of 300.
It's a lot of the workforce then.
Exactly. So we want to engage them, and that is the right thing to do. And now there are different things called the green factors, which is Ernie Green, who was a conscientious objector in Vietnam, who was convicted of a felony, and it went to the Supreme Court because he applied for a job, and they said, well, there's no bright line, which is a legal term saying, okay, no felonies. Well, the Supreme Court came down with the green factors. What was the nature of the crime? How long ago did it take place? And what was the job that they're actually doing? So Attila the Hun wouldn't qualify. But someone who did Grand Theft Auto 8 years ago, has served their time, gotten out, and been a good citizen, deserves a second chance.
Lots of complexity here. I think it sort of bodes well to have somebody with experience and support at your side doing it. Bob, thanks for the insight. It's 3 minutes-ish. with Bob Drusendahl from PreCheck. I'm Steve Miller with COSE. Thanks, Bob.